Welcome, crypto fam, to the #1 daily Bitcoin pod. In today's show, I'll be breaking down the latest Bitcoin technical analysis, as well as the latest from Andrew Tate, who basically says that Bitcoin is the only option at this point. Also in today's show, Bitcoin whale aggressively accumulates 282 million worth of Bitcoin during this correction. I'll be breaking down the latest on-chain data, as well as breaking news. Phoenix and Wasabi both exit the U.S. market amid the self-custody wallet crackdown. We'll also be discussing Bitcoin can witness a repeat of November 2020's Parabolic rally amid max price compression, according to this analyst. I'm also going to be sharing with you a bombshell message from Satoshi Nakamoto, in which Samson Mao highlighted for us, which is pretty deep. We'll also be discussing Bitcoin to $1 million. That's right, the Strike CEO makes the bold prediction for this cycle. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this, plus so much more, on this fantastic Sunday. But anyways, fam, if you're new to the channel, very important, hit the subscribe button to receive daily premium crypto news alerts every single day, just like this, including on Sunday Fun Days. Today is pod episode number 1623. I'm your host, JV, and it is April 28th, 2024. Very special time. We only got 2 more days until the April monthly close. We know we had a halving roughly 8 days ago. And also Bitcoin struggling to recapture the current 70,000 range. We did max out in mid-March, about a month and a half ago, at 73,800. We are in the green, though, for the day. So let's kick it off right here with our market watch, as we do each and every day. Bitcoin back in the green, on the verge of reclaiming 64,000. We have Ether up 2%, trading back above 3,300. ICP is a big gainer, up 6%. And there's some altcoin called LA up an outrageous percentage. I don't know if that's because the market cap is minuscule, but it shows the top gainer in the entire market here today, as you can see on your screen. And checking out coinmarketcap.com, we're sitting at a 2.37 trillion market cap with 53 billion worth of volume for the past 24 hours, with the Bitcoin dominance at 52.7%. The Ether dominance back on the rise. We did bottom out at like 15.5%. Today we're back at 17.1%. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers in the past 24 hours. But I do want to point something out. Notice where it says top community accounts. Crypto News Alerts is featured on here. So you got to be sure to check us out and show us some support over on coinmarketcap.com. I appreciate it. But anyways, the top gainers on the day for the past 24 hours, we got Cospa up 8%, Arweave up 7.5%, and Athena up almost 7%. Below that, ICP, Wormhole, Nervos, Neo, and Lido DAO. Now, which altcoins, fam, are you guys most bullish on for this particular bull? Holla at your boy. And checking out the crypto bubbles, look at that visual perspective. Let's start on the daily. At least virtually everything is in the green and pumping. That means the market cap is back on the rise. And when Bitcoin pumps, virtually the alts follow in its footsteps. But zooming out on the monthly, not looking so well. Many of these alts have corrected tremendously over the past 30 days. And checking out the crypto greed and fear index. We're currently rated 65. Greed yesterday, 67. Last week, 72. Last month, 79, and extreme greed. So where do you feel the monthly close will likely take the King Crypto over the next couple of days? And remember, ETF Hong Kong goes live in 2 days as well, which means Tuesday, the day after tomorrow. Anyways, fam, let's dive into a little TA, aka Astrology for Men. The headline here reads, crypto traders see the best altcoin season, we call alt season, since 2017, as the Bitcoin price cools down. Here you're looking at the 1 hour chart. Bitcoin bounced past 64 G's ahead of the April 28th weekly close as the alt sought a recovery. That's right. Trading View tracked stronger price momentum of Bitcoin over the weekend after putting in weekly lows of 62.4. Bitcoin reversed, managing to maintain the higher ground, circling around 63.5 at this time. Altcoins have performed well for the out-of-hours trading, with the total altcoin market cap up 1% on the day, hence why a lot of gainers here in the alt market. Quoting crypto analyst Scoo, alts bounce very nicely, but still have to break the trend of setting week highs around Monday or Tuesday, so we'll keep an eye on that. Scoo nonetheless suspected the sell-side pressure would step in on Bitcoin around range risks, keeping the bulls from advancing much higher, as he outlines here on X. And continuing on for the alts, we have Mustache, who is willing to bet on a full-fledged alt season entering next, this rivaling anything seen this market's ascent to all-time highs since 2017. The monthly dominance chart for the largest stablecoin Tether USDT is attempting to reclaim another break after breaking below rising the trend line this year, which was merely a back test. When the USDT dominance goes down, the altcoins go up, as the analyst points out. The biggest alt season since 2017 is loading, in my opinion. Let me know if you agree or disagree with that sentiment. And others thus awaited for the start of Trade 5 funding, including Bitcoin futures, for further cues for the crypto market trajectory. And quoting Dan Crypto Trades, the weekend price action so far, so good. Doubt we see any meaningful move from Bitcoin from this point until after the CME opens back up, which we know will occur Monday morning. Now, meanwhile, very bullish Bitcoin price structure keeps the bull market on the radar. Despite consolidating in a range still below the previous cycle all-time highs, Bitcoin did not disappoint everyone. Quoting trader Alan Terragrade, he says the monthly Bitcoin chart looked promising. Bitcoin is still sitting above the triangle top, which is still very bullish. And to have a long and solid bull run in the future, consolidation is necessary to be built up. And alongside this chart, it compares Bitcoin now to a pre-breakout period for the NASDAQ in 2013. So there you have it, family. Let me know how many of you guys are currently bullish. Now, shout out to the top G, Andrew Tate. He recently tweeted this. I think this was this morning, very early, 4:14 a.m. Already got over 1 million views. He put the dollar is fucked. Real estate and most other investments will take off once you don't comply with their tyranny, and the tyranny will become worse than ever. Leaving Bitcoin, there is no other option. That's right. So the only option is Bitcoin. Every other investment, asset, commodity is confiscatable. The only non-confiscatable form of money is Bitcoin. So let me know if you agree with the top G. But anyways, let's dive into our next story of the day, discuss what the whales are doing. Bitcoin whale aggressively accumulates 282 milli worth of biddies during this correction, according to the on-chain data. That's right. It all started late March as Bitcoin struggled to find the bottom after hitting all-time highs. First spotted by blockchain tracking firm Look On Chain, an address beginning with has bought 4,380 biddies. We're at 282 million at an average price of 64,000. So quoting them here, after the price of Bitcoin dropped, this whale bought another 620 biddies worth 40 million at the bottom. And since March 21st, the whale also bought 4,380 biddies worth 283 million at 64,400 from Binance. And they show the address here. It shows you the buy and spree charted out. 350 biddies, 140, 250, 360, 300, 330, and it goes on and on. On the same day, the firm also spotted another whale depositing over 77 million worth of Bitcoin into Kraken. And while it's unclear what the whale plans to do with their coins, depositing them on Kraken means they could potentially sell the Bitcoin on the open market. And citing data from Crypto De-Anonymizing Service, RCAM, Look On Chain says the entity accumulated over 1.68 billion worth of Bitcoin in just a month and a half. So who do you think the mysterious whale is, family? Quoting them here, a whale deposited 1,200 biddies worth 77 milli into Kraken 43 minutes ago. The whale accumulated almost 25,000 biddies worth 1.7 billion-ish at an average price of 68,000 from March 1st to the 15th. Talk about stacking them sats. Now, we know whales have been accumulating. The smart money is the whales. We also been speculating who is the wallet behind Mr. 100. Could it be a nation such as Qatar or big city like Abu Dhabi over in the UAE, as Max Kaiser speculates? Let me know. And who do you think this potential whale is? Do you think it's some form of an exchange? Do you just think it is a millionaire on the low, you know what I mean, incognito style, just stacking them stats. I'd love to know your thoughts. We discussed the latest from the whales. Let's dive deeper into self-custody. Phoenix and Wasabi exit U.S. market amid self-custody wallet crackdown. That's right. ACINQ's Bitcoin wallet and Phoenix wallet and the Wasabi wallet are discontinuing services for the U.S. Womp womp. As customers, in response to the recent crackdown on the two major self-custodial crypto wallet providers, both ACK Inc. and ZK Snacks raised concerns about whether self-custodial wallet providers can be seen as legitimate money service businesses, following the recent action taken by the U.S. regulatory agencies against MetaMask creator, Consensus, and crypto mixer Samurai Wallet. Quoting them here. In light of the recent announcements by U.S. authorities, it now strictly prohibits U.S. users from using its services. Recent announcements from U.S. authorities cast a doubt on whether self-custodial wallet providers, Lightning service providers, or even Lightning nodes would be considered money service businesses and be regulated as such. Now, ACK Inc. has given Phoenix Wallet users until May 2nd to adjust to the upcoming changes. That gives them like 4 days. While the new policy of Wasabi Wallet was implemented effective immediately. Now, ACK Inc. explained that Phoenix Wallet users should drain their wallets but avoid forced closing their wallets, as on-chain fees could be significant. So if you're currently using any of these wallets, it's highly recommended you remove your crypto from these wallets. And I could suggest a self-custodied wallet versus an exchange wallet for obvious reasons. Now, recently, regulators worldwide argue that self-custody crypto wallets may assist in facilitating illicit activity such as money laundering. As reported, Consensus received a Wells notice from the SEC on April 10th, warning of potential enforcement actions related to MetaMask swaps and MetaMask staking products. The SEC allegedly said in a phone conference that Consensus was operating as an unregistered broker-dealer. And I don't even think they got any warnings. Correct me if I'm wrong there, fam. Meanwhile, just a day earlier, it was reported that co-founder of the crypto mixer Samurai Wallet were arrested on charges of money laundering brought by the US DOJ and other agencies. Samurai Wallet CEO Keon Rodriguez and Chief Technology Officer William Hill are each facing one count of conspiracy to commit money laundering with a maximum sentence of 20 years, good Lord, in prison, and one count of conspiracy to operate an unlicensed money transferring business with a maximum sentence of 5 years in prison. Meanwhile, Bankman-Fried basically ran the biggest Ponzi scheme known to mankind besides the US dollar itself, and over 10 billion was lost and investors got wrecked and screwed, and he's only serving 25 years in prison. Meanwhile, these guys, for simply creating this can serve up to 20 years in prison is mind-boggling, if you ask me. In the meantime, European regulators recently relaxed potential proposed regulations concerning self-custody wallets. And as reported, the majority of the European Parliament's lead committee scrapped a €1,000 limit on crypto payments from self-hosted crypto wallets as part of the new anti-money laundering laws. Now, crypto exchanges must perform due diligence, such as identify verification checks on users who carry out business transactions of at least €1,000. So crazy as the crypto crackdown continues, family. Anyways, fam, next story of the day, let's discuss this parabolic rally. And then we'll discuss Bitcoin privacy a little deep, and then dive into the latest from Strike CEO Jack Mallers and his $250 to $1 million price prediction for this particular cycle, followed by some live Q&A. So yeah, check it. Widely followed analyst believes the Bitcoin is gearing up for a parabolic surge despite its recent price doldrums. Synonymous crypto strategist Tech Dev, shout out Tech Dev and his 500,000 followers on X, says conditions on Bitcoin's 2-month chart suggest Bitcoin is almost ready to witness a price explosion. Send it. The analyst predicts the Bitcoin will rally by over 120%, similar to what happened in late 2020, when Bitcoin surged from around 13 Gs to over 29,000 in just 2 months. Not too shabby. What is that? 3x. Bitcoin's 2-month candle is right on the candle body high, soon after max compression. Now, as the relative strength index is about to break 70, these have been the conditions which led to the past 3 parabolic accelerations. I suspect this next 2-month candle will be as tall as November 2020. Bring it. So looking at the chart, you can see here on your screen, he appears to point out that Bitcoin saw a parabolic surge in 2013, 2016, and 2020, when its momentum indicator, which is the RSI, went above the bullish 70 level. He also says Bitcoin's volatility indicator, which is the Bollinger Bands, width bottomed out during the same 3 instances, indicating that Bitcoin was prepping for a big price explosion. So as Bitcoin replicates the exact conditions, TechDev says it is unlikely for Bitcoin to go through a price collapse. Quoting him here, please also point out the pullbacks, crashes, dumps, and many have freaked out about over the last 8 months. So although TechDev is optimistic about the prospect of another parabolic run for Bitcoin, we have another analyst, Don Alt, who does not share the same sentiment. The analyst who nailed the 2022 Bitcoin bottom warns the Bitcoin support at 60,000 looks vulnerable after getting tested multiple times. As he shares here, back to the same old level. The more often it is tested, the more likely it is to break. I think even the bulls would want to get a washout below it at this point. Complacency until proven otherwise, as in until $68,000 is reclaimed or range is lost and then reclaimed again. So there you go. Let me know if you agree more with Don Alt or Tech Dev regarding the current status of the market and a little deja vu action in comparison to the 2020 bull market. Holla. Let's discuss Bitcoin privacy. Headline reads, CEO Bitcoin Maxi drops bombshell message from Satoshi Nakamoto. Here's the bombshell tweet that Samson Mao posted on April 26th. I got 158,000 views. I retweeted it already. He wrote, and this is quoting Satoshi, privacy can still be maintained by breaking the flow of information in another place by keeping public keys anonymous. That's the key. The public can see that someone is sending an amount to someone else, but without information linking the transaction to anyone. So that's the key. You got to keep your public keys anonymous. You got to keep your addresses anonymous. And if you can do that, you can have a level of privacy within the Bitcoin network. So let's dive deeper. Samson Mao, Bitcoin adoption firm Jan 3, recently reignited discussions on 2 crucial aspects of Bitcoin, user privacy, and the future price trajectory. In a thought-provoking convo, Mao referenced Satoshi's privacy vision from the Bitcoin white paper, emphasizing its continued relevance. Now, Nakamoto, synonymous creator of Bitcoin, envisioned a system where privacy wouldn't rely on trusted third parties like traditional banks. Instead, the pioneering crypto employs a system of anonymous private keys. And while transactions are publicly recorded on the blockchain, the identities of those involved remain concealed. This approach offers a unique solution to the privacy concern that plagues many digital transactions. However, the question of privacy in Bitcoin remains a tightrope walk. While anonymity safeguards user info, the public nature of the blockchain raises concerns about transparency. Regulators and law enforcement grapple with the potential for misuse, highlighting the need for a balanced approach. Mao's emphasis on privacy reflects ongoing efforts to find this equilibrium and preserve the decentralized spirit of crypto. That's right. Now let's discuss this Omega candle. Beyond privacy, Mao examined the ever-volatile world for the crypto price predictions, introducing the concept of the Omega Bitcoin candles, represented extended periods of intense market activity characterized by the high price swings. The CEO believes that the recent halving, which cut the block rewards in half, coupled with demand surge from the Bitcoin ETFs, can trigger the emergence of these Omega candles. Now, Omega candle being a $100,000 uptick on the daily chart. The theory hinges on the interplay of supply and demand shocks. The halving creates a supply shock by limiting the number of the new biddies entering circulation, and simultaneously, spot ETFs are rapidly acquiring significant amounts of Bitcoin, creating a corresponding demand shock, which we already witnessed first quarter here this year. Now argues that this convergence has the potential to propel the crypto asset towards the highly anticipated price milestone of $1 million per coin. So what are your thoughts on that? Let me know. Now for our feature story of the day, we have the Strike CEO, Jack Mallers, predicting his Bitcoin prediction for this particular cycle, ranging from $250,000 per coin to $1 million per BTC. Let's break this baby down. And shout out to Jack Mallers, by the way, and to the Strike, Lightning wallet. Here we go. Strike CEO Jack Mallers predicts the Bitcoin can reach between $250,000 and $1 million per coin during the current cycle, driven by efforts to save the troubled bond market. Mallers believes that the price of Bitcoin is the most accurate indicator of its adoption as a monetary unit and expects the adoption to increase, leading to a violent upside against the dollar and other fiat currencies. Can you see this violent upside against USD, fam? Let me know. Meanwhile, crypto whales transfer $1.3 billion worth of USDC to Coinbase, which some analysts interpret as a potential giant buy signal. We're going to be discussing all of this, so let's break it down. Jack Mallers attributes the potential price surge to the ongoing efforts to save the troubled bond market. He believes that central banks and governments will need to inject a significant amount of liquidity into the market to keep it solvent, which could send assets, including Bitcoin, soaring. Mallers views the price of Bitcoin as the most accurate key performance indicator of its adoption as a monetary unit, expects more people to embrace it as a solution to various financial problems. Meanwhile, the crypto market has been abuzz with large transfers. Now, typically, when there's a large transfer to a major exchange, such as Binance or a Coinbase, that can mean a sell-off. So this was one of them on the radar at 350 million in USDC. Now, we also, in a couple of days, have big news coming out of Hong Kong. They have their spot Bitcoin and Ether ETFs both going live on Tuesday, literally 2 days from now, family. But anyways, despite all of this volatility, where do you feel the Bitcoin price is likely to take us? The post Bitcoin to 1 million. I want to know your thoughts on that. Can you see Bitcoin hitting as high as $1 million per coin for this cycle? And we spoke about Samson Mao a little earlier. He's also a proponent that believes Bitcoin can hit $1 million for this particular cycle. So let's start with Mallers' bear scenario, which is $250,000. Now, do you feel personally we hit the cycle peak this year in 2024, or do you think it'll be next year, 2025, as typically it's the year preceding the halving where we hit the all-time high for the cycle, right? That's when we peak out. So if you think things are going to be the same as previously, then one could anticipate we hit that $250,000 to $1 million sometime in 2025. Now, some of you are of the belief that this cycle is different for obvious reasons. The cycle is driven by the institutional FOMO, which did not exist previous cycle. For example, in 2020, 2021, that was pure retail that took us to 69,000 per Bitcoin. Quick shout out to Grant Noakes. He just blessed 5 members with the MicroStrategy membership of the channel. So shout out to Pam Powers, Patrick Bryant, VZ Fat Cat, JBZ, and DDM. You've all been hooked up on behalf of Grant Noakes, so we greatly appreciate your support. So yeah, what else is different is this particular cycle, we broke the previous all-time high pre-halving. That's never been done before. For example, it was mid-March, which was last month. We tapped out at 73,800, breaking the previous all-time high from November 10th of 2021, which was 69,000. So some would say this particular cycle is different, but I want to know your thoughts. Now, Samson Mao believes $1 million is a thing that can happen, particularly this year. He's been calling it actually for quite some time. He says it could happen just like that when a lot of people are not anticipating it. We have mass institutional inflows. We have nation state adoption. We have the accounting changes, which Michael Saylor says is a big deal, which will help usher in mass adoption as well. We have the sovereign wealth fund, adoption. We have whales accumulating and stacking sats like there's no tomorrow, as we mentioned a little earlier. There's a lot of mysterious wallets, including Mr. 100, which we haven't identified. A lot of speculation that it's a nation state, such as a Qatar or the UAE, which would be Abu Dhabi, big city out there as well. There's speculation out of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Russia is now even building a Bitcoin mining hub in Ethiopia, which we have covered on the show. We have the BRICS movement, which continues to just double with more and more countries joining them. I believe the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia recently joined them. So now you got like Iran, all these Middle Eastern countries that have a lot of wealth moving towards the de-dollarization of the dollar. And this is very real and occurring in real time. Now you have the Japanese yen, which effectively went to zero against Bitcoin, not looking good for the financial markets out there in Japan. Some would say all of these fiats are eventually going to zero against Bitcoin. Maybe the US dollar will be the last boss. We don't know. Now, what would occur as well, like hypothetically speaking, if the dollar hyperinflated this cycle? Then can you see $1 million Bitcoin? I mean, to me, it's easy peasy. 250 conservative, but it's only 4x away from $1 million. And with hyperinflation, 4x is easy peasy. You thought some of the price appreciations of the previous, halvings were crazy. Well, if you get hyperinflation, we can see a repeat of that, of what we witnessed in maybe 2016, 2017, right? Or even 2012 and 2013, where things went crazy, in my opinion. Now, there's no telling. There's no magic 8-ball I can shake or crystal ball to look into the future. But one thing is for certain, Bitcoin will continue to increase its purchasing power against the dollar. It's a mathematical certainty. And the dollar will continue to decrease its purchasing power. It's a mathematical certainty. All I need to do is pull up the chart of Bitcoin versus the US dollar since inception of Bitcoin 15 years ago, since the Genesis block, which I believe occurred January 2009. This is the tale of the tape. When in doubt, they say, just zoom out and you'll see, realistically, Bitcoin has been on a 15-year bull run against the dollar. Now, when Bitcoin overtakes the market cap of gold, which is roughly 15 trillion, a lot of analysts speculate Bitcoin will be over $1 million. In fact, it was the Winklevoss twins, maybe in 2019, 2018, it was a few years back. They made the case. They're the first ones I know of that made the case for a $500,000 Bitcoin. And their main argument was it's going to overtake gold because Bitcoin is digital gold. It's the superior form of gold, if you know what I mean. Just saying, Peter Schiff, it is what it is. And gnats flying around my face. Move back, stand back, or I'm going to attack. But yeah, yo, so let me know your thoughts surrounding 250 to 1 million per Bitcoin for this cycle, as per the Strike CEO, Jack Mallers. And it's right in alignment with JV's personal prediction for this cycle. I've been calling for a bottom of 222,000 for this cycle. I think we hit the cycle peak, though, next year in 2025. And my bull scenario is 750,000 per Bitcoin, which is virtually very similar to Jack. Jack's a little more optimistic, saying we hit 1 million this cycle, but I believe it'll happen next cycle. Easy 250 this cycle, easy 4x from there next cycle. By the year 2029, which is the year following the halving, which is scheduled to take place around March of 2028, I can see very realistically $1 million per Bitcoin. That's without hyperinflation of the dollar. If you calculate true hyperinflation, we could have a multiple $1 million Bitcoin by the year 2029, 2030, by the following cycle, and we could witness true hyper-Bitcoinization, where everything just starts trending to zero against Bitcoin on an accelerated rate as of what we're experiencing right now with countries all around the world. But I want to know your thoughts, fam. When we hitting $1 million Bitcoin, $250,000 Bitcoin, let me know in the live chat.